Welcome to the Future.Bible Podcast, where you'll hear profiles of individuals and Bible-inspired organizations making a difference in the digital world. In each episode, we'll bring you stories of innovation, advancement, and real-life change. Are you ready? Let's get to today's episode.
Hey friends, it is time for another episode of Future.Bible. Thank you so much for joining us this week and every week that you are here with us. I'm joined by my co-host, DJ Chuang, the only one from the West Coast. Welcome, DJ. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It has stopped raining here, and I think the polar vortex is no longer hovering around the United States, so we are doing well.
It certainly has been a weather conundrum. It's been almost, as we say here in Jersey, a little bit too hot the last couple of days, but I think we're going to be punished for that. So the weather went all the way up to like 61, 62 degrees after it was, freezing cold, like -2, -3 wind chill last week. And then we're going back down to the 30s or 40s. So I don't know what's going on in the weather these days. I'll tell you one thing. We had great weather when you and I were together in Las Vegas last week. How about that? That was a great trip.
That was a wonderful trip. We had a great time connecting with each other and many others in the so-called domain name industry. I did not know there was an industry, but apparently there's an industry. And they have an annual conference called NamesCon, and they actually have this conference in several locations around the world. So it is a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it was my second year to this conference. It was actually very interesting that the tone or tenor of the conversations and the speakers tended to be a little bit different this year than last year. I think last year there was this this reference to the previous years where it was a feeling of a gold rush for the industry as the new GTLDs, the top-level domain names that were unleashed, as we know, and we've talked about on the show, that there are tons of new internet domain extensions available, like .shoes, .football, all these different newfangled website URLs. And we were representing the .bible team from American Bible Society. And so it felt like that gold rush was over. There was some sobriety last year. And this year I felt like it was, about how do we rebuild and look at the basics of building businesses and internet domaining. I think we saw some efforts to get rid of the name squatting in terms and changing it into internet domain investing, which actually we met a couple of people who are professionally doing this vocationally, right? This is their full-time job, managing portfolios of, was it hundreds or tens of thousands of domains? What was the most number of domains you heard someone manage?
Oh, they actually did just a quick straw poll of, hey, how many people have over 100 domains? How many people have over 1,000? And how many have over 10,000? I think there was maybe a handful, a dozen or so that had over 10,000 as a portfolio that they have registered and they're invested in and trying to do in-reach and outreach to sell those domains over the course of 10, 20 years.
Yeah, and so it was interesting. It was also interesting to see some of the GTLDs, the generic top-level domains. We met the guys at .icu that have, I think, sold hundreds of thousands of website addresses in the last 8 months alone. There was a banner there that said .online has sold over 1 million URLs, domain names already, and there's .global. There were some other big names at the conference, including the behemoth of it all. I guess GoDaddy was the giant that was being represented.
Yes. So we both have the domain investors, the top-level domains, and the registrars, which are the retail stores. So it can get kind of confusing because all these things are interconnected. but they have very distinct roles. And I don't know if you want to get into defining each of those for new listeners that are new to this industry.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Why don't you go ahead and
we
try
should
to
do
make
that.
sense of it for some of the people who don't live in this space on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I didn't live in this space 5 years ago, so it was a learning curve for me too. So when we talk about domain investing, those are people that register domain names that look pretty good. So let's say stake.com. That's a domain some investor has purchased and is waiting for the right buyer that will pay a high dollar amount. And right now there's a parking page, meaning that if you go to stake.com right now, it has a menu of maybe 10 links to search engine results, but there's not a real website there with content. It's just one page, parked, and nothing there. So people, like we were just saying, some people have thousands of those, some people have tens of thousands of those, and they're actually stake.com is not working right now. So previously, I've been there in past months. It was a park page. Today, it's not working. And they will curate these domains. They will talk to people at an industry conference like this. They will talk to people, perhaps for stake.com. They will go to a meat convention and talk about that domain name in hopes of finding a buyer that's willing to pay the price they're asking for, usually 4 or 5 digits, and make a sale. So a domain name is worth what a person is willing to pay for it. And here's the kicker in terms of investing. There are people that will pay high dollar for certain domain names because it matches their brand or it matches their category or something is special about them. So for example, the one that I recently found out about is Tesla.com. You know that fancy car company Elon Musk started?
Good old Elon's car company.
Yeah, well, when he started that company and launched a website for the first cars that rolled off the assembly line, the web address was teslamotors.com. And it took over a year of back and forth and negotiation and so on with the investor that had owned Tesla.com. And I think it was a year or so later that Elon Musk was able to purchase Tesla.com from the previous owner for $11 million. That's
11 million
with
US
the M.
dollars? Are you talking US dollars, DJ?
US dollars, 11 million with the M, like Mary.
Wowzer.
Mm-hmm. So in the history of time, there's been 20 or 30 domains that have sold for over $1 million. There's hundreds and thousands that have sold for thousands. And one of the speakers talked about generally these so-called premium domain names, those that sell for above the standard price, is kind of in that $2,500, $3,500 range. Just to give you a sense of, okay, if you have a good domain name and you want to invest in this thing and you know how to find the buyer, then that's kind of money that's involved.
It is amazing, like real estate, how these properties can come and go. The popularity can come and go. I was just reading some news that Donald Trump domains were popular at the height in 2015, 2016 during the elections. The popularity has fallen a bit, but there were 2 domains that were registered last year: Trump.sucks and DonaldTrump.sucks. And both were registered anonymously. But they were registered for $28 a year, and then they were renewed, meaning, and the way every domain registrar, GTLD, is different. The way that one is set up is it's $28 for the first year, but when it renews at $2,399. So if you're going to hold on to this for more than 1 year, it's going to cost you $2,400 for that. And so there are people just sitting on them trying to see if there's any commercial value of those domains. Really, it's such an interesting And that's what you call the aftermarket domain sales industry, right? There's a difference between premium domains and aftermarket domains.
That's right.
So GoDaddy was there and showed a lot of data because GoDaddy itself sells domain names for the first time as a registrar to the public, but they themselves have an aftermarket. Is it an aftermarket marketplace or aftermarket marketplace, right? Cedo is the big one, but GoDaddy is another big one, and they shared a lot of the data from the industry. You were at that presentation also. I thought it was definitely one of the highlights of NamesCon. Do you remember any highlights? What's one or two highlights that you could share with our listeners today from that conference presentation?
Well, I'll share 3. So 40% of the attendees were first-time newcomers. And so there's still a lot of interest in investing in domain names, and this digital real estate is valuable for starting up small businesses and starting up new brands. And not all of them are .com, because now it's becoming a world where you just want a domain name that makes sense and is memorable. And
yes.
So sometimes the .com is just extra letters that you don't need. So that's one. 2, the GoDaddy presentation, I agree with you, was very helpful because it gave us some real data. Because there's a lot of stories that kind of swirl around the industry, but it was hard to nail down. But GoDaddy was willing to disclose some of their information. So when you mentioned the aftermarket, they get 700 million live searches every month in that aftermarket search engine. So there are many, many domain names that are already registered, but the owners of those domains are willing to sell at an extra price in this thing called aftermarket. So GoDaddy is it's the largest retailer of domain names in terms of the online store where you can buy and register domain names, and they have somewhere around 33% of the entire domain registration business. So they are definitely influential and definitely very valuable data. And then the third one was a presentation by the Radix CEO, RADIX. And he is a very, very data-driven, disciplined kind of a guy. And so when they launched their top-level domains, things like .press and .online, they did this very exhaustive dictionary search, and they did all kinds of Google volume analysis and bunches of analysis to make sure they had the best chance at developing a sustainable and profitable business model. And I think they have. So it was encouraging of him to share some of the discipline that he puts in running a top-level domain, which we all are learning from. So those are the 3 that stood out to me.
For me, one point that I think came out, and again, we were in Vegas, so a lot of people have swagger, and you don't know if that swagger is real or not, especially when it's in Las Vegas. Right? So there are people who make these claims that they're living off of their internet domain investors. They're buying domains up by the dozens every day, and they're selling them and making, it's like a gold mine, etc. But GoDaddy came out with some data that showed the sweet spot, if you are a domain investor, is to find domains and then be able to sell them, not for millions of dollars, not for tens of thousands of dollars, but I believe it was somewhere around the 2,500 to 3,500, or maybe up to a little bit above that. But that was the sweet spot for reselling a domain. So if you've got a portfolio, that probably is a reasonable estimate on, if it is commercially viable, that you might be able to get a couple $1,000s for it, right?
That's right. So that was very helpful data as well.
And you can see how, if that is the case, we met a portfolio manager at one of the breakfast mixers that we were at that manages literally thousands of domain names for a private investor. So they're not even his. Someone else has money and uses that money to let him go out and purchase domain names on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and then try to position them and sell them on a daily, monthly, weekly basis, so that overall that he would make a profit, right? A positive ROI on whatever monies that they're investing in domain names. So I thought that was very interesting that they are, that is a reasonable outlet to say, hey, you can make money in this industry. I've also saw GoDaddy outline the typical playbook for the domain portfolio business. Did you see that, DJ?
I saw it, but it didn't make an impression on me, I guess.
There was I think it was part of the presentation, and then it was part of a summary write-up that NamesCon put out. And I thought it was interesting that the skinny of it is, the Cliff Note version is that your aim is to buy, I think it's 5 to 15 character domains. So you want it to be relatively short, right? You don't want this crazy long domain that you can't remember. You want memorability in recall. And ideally, it's a 1 to 2 word domain, English words. So again, you want to be able to have that recall in the consumer's mind. And then you buy 2 to 3 a day, anywhere between $50 to $150. And so you're buying about 3 a day, and it's 365 days a year. So you're buying about 1,000 domains a year. And they said that if that target sweet spot is $2,500 to $3,500 to flip it, and then you get a 1% sale rate, that within 3 years you should be break even or profitable. And then very soon after that, you should be able to go full time in that business, which I thought was an interesting play. The fact that, hey, if you can find, and with GTLDs, I think that is the question. With any of the new GTLs that are out there, there are plenty of words that typically would be premium if it was in a .com, .org scenario, but may not be. And you don't need to pay thousands of dollars for it on any of these new GTLDs. And yet, so you might get it for $50, $60, $70. And then you can position it to have it sold, because this is like the internet gold rush, right? It is first mover's advantage in a lot of these GTLDs. 1 word, 2 word, keyword domains are still available. It's not like the .com. And so I thought that was very interesting that possibility is there. So if you're one of those people that are constantly checking and dreaming about future businesses and potentials of websites, and you tend to pick up domain names. I don't know about you, DJ. How many random funny domain names have you come across over the years that you're tempted to buy?
I stay away from that kind of business.
Right, because it's a slippery slope, right? It is a slippery slope. I know in one of the Facebook groups that and we asked that question, and some of the guys were paying a couple $1,000s a year in renewal fees on domain names that they've just been accruing. It's kind of like they're hoarding these domain names. And I used to have a bunch of them. WeSellHats.com, WeSellCaps.com. FingerClickingGood.com is my funniest one that I'm using lately. Those are the types of things that you find novelty, you purchase them thinking that you'll develop a business or you can sell it or something else. But yet you just keep on paying renewal fees year after year after year. Right? I think there must be a lot of listeners that have a couple of domain names in that category that can empathize with that position. But anyway, the point is that new GTLDs are providing a new opportunity for people with that approach or that philosophy in terms of value. My point, this all means, the whole punchline, the whole bottom line means people are willing to pay for short domain names, DJ, right? They're willing to pay for the right words. They're willing to pay for something that's easy to remember. Domain names are important, and GTLDs are providing new opportunities. Infusing that meaning or intent into the actual URL makes sense, and that's what brands should start to be thinking about. And I think that's from a .Bible perspective. If you are a Christian faith-based ministry, it probably makes sense to think about how else we could use this, right, DJ?
That's right. And there's no stronger word that evokes a emotional reaction like the word Bible. whether you're
Absolutely.
Christian or not. And certainly the word Bible is used in non-Christian context as well as a book of authority. And so Bible can be used for barbecue or golf or knitting or
Yes,
fishing.
crocheting.bible. I'm waiting for that.
Well, you can register that if you would like.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the question is, there's so many different ways that GTL, these top level domain names, can be used because there's so many options, and .bible gives you that option that says, hey, you don't need to take it just one way. You can actually reappropriate the use, because there are many books. When I go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon, there are tons of books. I think over 10,000 books out there published that have the word Bible in it, right? So it is like the coffee connoisseur Bible type of, that type of authority, travel Bible books and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I was just talking with a graphic design firm about a month ago, and he was saying that in the process of branding and identity and creative, one of the first steps that's part of their process now is looking for an available domain name.
Yes.
So it's become integrated into your branding and startup and naming strategy. And there's a media company that's been in the news. You may have heard of them, BuzzFeed. And they have a section that's BuzzFeed.news. And they actually incorporate that into their logo. So it can be a very strong branding to use a top-level domain that has meaning and not just tags along like a .com.
Yeah, and I actually think from that perspective, being in that digital agency space, organizations, companies, individuals are not going to have to resort to making up names as much, because we have so many options now for one-word, two-word domains if you consider these generic top-level domains, right? The reason why we have the Yahoos, the Googles of the world, is because there was no more real estate available on .com, right? The one words are all taken, two words are all taken, and so you have to start making up names in order to get something that's short and memorable. And so now you can get short, memorable, but with intent and meaning by using all these GTLDs. And I think especially this next generation, I think the older generation has these concerns about GTLDs, but the next generation, it's just I don't know, it's just intuitive. If there's a www in front of it, it's a website address, or if there's an HTTP in there, it's a website address, or if you refer to it as a website, it's a website address. There's no confusion, and you're willing to try. There's no risk in trying to type something into your URL bar. So anyway, I think that's the bottom line, is that this is validation. This industry, they paid over, how much was the auction was $2.2 million they raised, right?
That's
That's one of the flashy parts of the thing. Do you remember some of the URLs that they sold at that auction?
Oh, I can't remember this year. But I know last year they sold something like super.bible and super.com and great.com for like 6 digits. I forget which one were the headliners this year, but they had several.
Yeah, they had over $2.2 million in auctions. From my memory, and this is why I think from an outsider's point of view, this is just validation that short, memorable domain names are important. People are willing to pay for it. There's a value of it. But you had things such as solarbackpack.com or lasvegas.events, or I remember there was the domain, I mean, this is the easy one, domainnames.com sold for over $300,000. I remember Jim telling us that, domainnames.com. And there was other really funny ones like bathroomsink.com, I think was one of the ones that sold in the auction. And then there's more common ones like I think insurance.us was one of them, or what's another one that they sold that was dietitians.com, dietsupplements.com. We know that weight loss and weight loss and insurance are two of the most lucrative niches in the industry online industry. So it's no surprise that dietitians or dietsupplements.com sold in a auction environment. But the whole point was there was tons of URLs that were sold, and over $2.2 million passed hands that evening. And so it means, hey, look, if you are looking for a campaign, a microsite, your organization site, a new initiative, you really should be looking at GTLDs, because you can avoid having to pay for the .com at 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures, if you can find the right one with intent and meaning using a generic TLD. So anyway, let's talk about .bible just to give people some creative inspiration. What are some of the fun .bibles that you've seen come along so far? One of my favorites is viz.bible, visual data visualization of the Bible. What about you? Can you name some that are present in your mind when a .bible comes to mind?
I like what today.bible is doing. So if you make that your homepage, you get today's daily reading on your home screen.
Oh, I never knew that one.
Every day. Yeah, so I thought that was a very convenient one. And then we have certainly many partner sites, like free.bible is the quickest, easiest way to share the Bible app with others to install and download. We have good partners across different confessions of Christian faith, like Catholic.Bible and Greek Orthodox.Bible. And then one of my favorites is Insta.Bible, kind of a play off the Instagram phenomena. That Insta.Bible has this guy named Kenny. I think it's you, Kenny Jahng. Yes, in process of creating a shareable Bible verse image for 30,000 plus Bible verses, every single one on Insta.Bible.
We are in a post-textual culture. Visual is the language, and so we're trying to create a social media Bible, basically capturing all 31,000 verses of the Bible in visual form so that you could share the Bible as it was originally intended. We want the Bible to be shared, and so this is just one of those things. It's a passion project. It's not for profit. Everything is free. If you go to insta.bible, thank you for the plug, DJ. If you go to insta.bible, please tell everybody about it, because you can download the images. They're copyright free, and we would love for you to use any of the images. We're trying to upload dozens and dozens of images every single month. We're looking for some volunteers to create images and help administrate or upload. So you can reach out to me if you wanted to, and that's a side project. That's definitely a great use of a .bible domain, I guess. Bible reading plans is another great use of a .bible. I think if a church or a nonprofit organization is doing a campaign to get your staff or team or community to read the Bible together, I think a Bible reading campaign website would be perfect. Do you know of any websites out there that are using a .bible for a Bible reading campaign yet?
Well, we don't have visibility into the entire .bible space, but the one that we are aware of is H2O Church.Bible. That's H2O as in water, the atomic symbols, H as in hydrogen, O as in oxygen, H2O Church.Bible. And
yeah, so the O is a 0, right? It's H20.
No, it's an O, like oxygen.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's H2O, like oxygen, H2O Church.Bible. And they use a new top-level domain for their church as well, H2O.Church. So they use that to have their entire church read the Bible plan from the Bible app. So
nice. Yes, H2O, fantastic. Hydrogen, 2 oxygens, H2O Church.Bible. I'm there right now. It says, let's read the Bible together in January. There's a 31-day plan, and there's some related plans for February and April, pulling all from YouVersion, but this is a great way to get your church on the same page. Now, that is one of the issues, right? As an internet registry, we don't have access to all the details of all the great things people are doing after they buy a domain name. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're doing a contest, a giveaway, right, DJ? Can you tell everybody about how they might be able to win a prize?
Yeah, the giveaway is really simple. Go to get.bible/reading, and we are collecting, inviting all churches, faith communities, even small groups that are reading the Bible together, and share that URL with us, whether you're using a .bible domain or not. But however it is that you're organizing and telling people about your reading plan, share that with us, and we'll do a random drawing in middle of March. You can see the details again at get.bible/reading, and we will give away a $100 gift certificate and the entire video archive of the Faith Leads Tech Conference.
Yeah, so the $100 on Amazon. Who can't use another $100 credit on Amazon? And then a free digital pass to unlimited access to the archive for the Faith Leads Tech Conference that happened. I personally have been going through some of the talks because I was in the backstage area. But you got Justin Trapp and Wade Bearden. You got Chad Barlow, John Dyer. Nick Runyon was there. Dan Hodges. Robert Rouse, Brandon Donaldson. It was great to meet Brandon in person after going to lifechurch.tv back in the day for my online church service days as a congregation member from Jersey, and they were broadcasting live from Life Church in Oklahoma. And so Brandon Donaldson is talking about stewarding kingdom technology. I remember that talk very well. Nate Taylor was there. Kelly from Lifeway was there. So there's a whole bunch of talks that are people paid to go to, but you can get all the videos for free in this giveaway. So it's get.bible/reading, right? Just www.get.bible/reading, and you can just fill out your church's name, your website, and share a little bit of what your church is doing in terms of Bible reading, and get into the contest there. So we'd love to hear more stories about how you are using GTLDs, how you're using .bible. DJ, why don't you share with people as we close out this episode how people can get in touch with you, and what's the best way for them to learn about the .bible domain name?
Yeah, just use the first name, my initials, DJ, like disc jockey, at get.bible. DJ at get.bible. And Kenny, we have a get.bible domain email for you as well, Kenny at get.bible. And get.bible is our website, www.get.bible, to see if your .bible domain name is available. Many of them are.
If you wanted to get information about our podcast here, transcriptions, past episodes, because it's not just us two. We actually have the fortunate opportunity to travel across the interwebs on a journey, meeting with other Bible technologists and innovators. That's Future.Bible, www.future.bible. We encourage you to stop by. And again, we want interaction. I think both DJ and I are known in the circles that we travel in that we're authentic in our call to action that says, hey, we love meeting new people and interacting and engaging. That's not a fake call to action. So reach out to us on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on the website, or email. And we'd love to hear your stories about what you're doing in the space about Bible engagements and technology and innovation, and the interwebs as we call them. So DJ, thanks for checking in today. I think one of the things that we should do that a couple of people have asked is they wanted to meet up with us. They want a heads up as to know that we're coming into town instead of just seeing us on social pop up with conference selfies. And so I think maybe we should come back for another episode soon just to go through our event schedule for the next couple of months, because we've got a busy schedule together, don't we, DJ?
Yeah, we travel almost once a month to be together at the same place and host a little gathering, whether it's breakfast or dinner or late night snacks or something. where we can be in the same room and really enjoy some FaceTime, literal FaceTime together.
Literal FaceTime together, so that we can meet more organizations and share the resources and the possibility and opportunities that Bible has available for Bible-inspired organizations. We have yet to have a post-midnight meetup at a Waffle House for .Bible, and I would love to do that this year. Maybe that's the call to action that will bring people out of the woodwork. But yes, we're going to a bunch of conferences. Maybe we should get back on the horn here in another episode for that. But in the meantime, yes, please reach out to us. Please visit Future.Bible. Leave a comment review on iTunes or Stitcher Radio or wherever you are listening to your podcast. And we'll look forward to another episode here soon on Future.Bible. Have a good day, DJ.
You too, Kenny. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed today's session, please help us share this podcast with your friends, colleagues, and family members. You can do that by leaving a review on iTunes or by sharing our website, www.future.bible, with your network. Don't forget to join us next week for the next episode of the Future.Bible Podcast.